General Chemistry Lecture 4 Substances. Our universe is mainly composed either of matter or energy. We can divide the universe into matter and energy. A matter can be divided into physical classification and chemical classification. If we take the chemical classification, we have three items, which elements, compounds, and mixtures. Elements can be divided into metals, nonmetals, and metalloid. Compounds can be divided into inorganic and organic compounds. Mixtures can be divided into homogeneous mixtures and heterogeneous mixtures. Physical classification, we can divide matter into solids, liquids, and gases. Identifying substance. Your substance may be either elements or compounds. Elements may be either atomic or molecular. Compounds may be either molecular or ionic. Your substance can be divided or classified into elements and compounds. If you take elements, we have atomic elements, we have molecular elements. Atomic elements like neon, because it has only one atom in its molecule. Molecular elements, an example we have oxygen because it has two atoms in its molecule. Compounds. Compounds are either molecular, as an example, it is water, or ionic compounds. An example is sodium chloride. Substances. Continued. Atomic elements. Elements that occur as single atoms, I call them monoatomic, which these are most elements. Here we have mercury. Identifying substance, molecular elements, elements that occur in pairs, we call them diatomic elements. Several elements, those are an example of them are simple elements. These are oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, and iodine. Five elements substance continuum. Ionic compounds. Those contains one or more cation paired with one or more anion. In most cases, the cations are metals and the anions are nonmetals. An example of them is sodium chloride. Identifying substances. When a metal combines with a nonmetal, one or more electron transfer from the metal to the nonmetal, creating a positive and negative ions that are attracted to each other. A compound composed of metal and nonmetal is considered ionic compound. Identifying substance continuum. The basic unit of ionic compound is the formula unit. Unlike molecular compounds, ionic compounds do not contain individual molecules, but rather contains anions and anions in alternating three-dimensional array. This table shows the formula of some common substances are listed below. We have three columns and with so many rows. I mean, we have 4 columns. There's 4 columns, elements and its formula, and compound and its their formulas. Here we have argon Ar, chlorine Cl, helium He, hydrogen H, neon Ne, nitrogen Ne, oxygen O, ozones O3. Here compounds, we have elements that has 2 or more elements. Carbon dioxide, CO3, hydrochloric acid, HCl, hydrogen peroxide, H2O2, potassium chlorate, KClO3, sodium chloride, NaCl, sulfuric acid, H2SO4, and sodium hydroxide, NaOH, and water, H2O. Molecules. When 2 or more atoms are able to join tightly so that they behave as a single particle called a molecule. If the atoms in the molecules are of different elements as in water, H2O, or methane CH4, then it will be a molecule of a compound.